Hello everybody, it is I, Freddy Fazbear, with Bonnie and Funtime Freddy. As you tell from the title, this is a summary for Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania. We actually tried to do this earlier, but because we actually put it in full HD, the thing took super long to upload, and we couldn't, and even we started the upload, so we had to, restarted, and we have to do this video again. Which sucks, because we're probably not going to explain everything like we did last time, and you know what. So, might as well just try and summarize this again. May not be as good as the last one, but what can you do? Never always. Anyways, let's just talk about what even is this film. Ant-Man the Wasp: Quantumania is the third film in the Ant-Man franchise. You see how blurry this thing is now? God, I gotta figure that out. Anyways, so basically this film is where Scott Lang, his daughter, and the Pym / Van Dynes get trapped inside a quantum realm and have to deal with Kang the Conqueror, who we see in Loki. Well, variant of him. What else? Oh crap. And this is actually the start of Phase 5. So for you guys who think we're still in Phase 4, no we're not. We are in a new phase. Phase 5. Starting with Quantumania. So, should we actually now get started with the freaking summary? Yeah, I think we should. So now for the rest of this, spoilers ahead. Go watch this film. We just made a little description of it. Now we're gonna actually talk about it. Alright. Let's go. So the film starts with Janet Van Dyne going for oh my god, this is so terrible. Okay, let me try again. Janet Van Dyne. No. Oh, you can see how terrible this is. Okay, the film starts with Janet Van Dyne. No, what am I saying? The film starts with a flashback. There, I said it. The film starts with a flashback with Janet Van Dyne, where he sees a some type of spaceship thingy crash on site. And when she goes to investigate, she sees spider Demogorgon-like things. She tries to fight them, and she almost loses until Kang arrives, killing them. And he asks where he is. Then the film flashbacks to present day, which we think maybe 2026 or late 2025, whatever the one is. So basically we catch up with Scott Cawthon. Scott Cawthon? I meant Scott Lang. And basically he is now a celebrity. Celebrity. He's basically famous because of how he is the reason for why the Avengers won an Endgame, and he made a whole podcast and book about podcasts, which we learned in Miss Marvel, which I think we kind of hear in this film as well. Yeah, we heard a podcast. That was definitely the podcast. I'm not sure. And then we see then we see him with the book. Him with the book. And he talks about how Hope has upgraded Pym technologies to Pym Van Dyne technologies. And yeah, how he's basically living his life even though he went to jail. And speaking of that, he gets a call from jail and talk about how his daughter just recently got in jail, so he and Hope bail her out, and of course he questions why she went to jail. She says something about the blip, so it must be something related to do with the flag. Well, not flag, but something similar to it, or I don't know, I don't know. God, this was so much easier than the first time. Anyways, so they catch up with Hank and Janet. They eat a pizza, and then while that they talk about how Cassie's actually this ain't the first time she went to jail. Then Hank talks about how he and Hope and Cassie build some type of machine that sends a signal down to the quantum realm. Janet, not being told about this, asks them to shut it off, though she shuts it off herself, but that was the mistake, because then the thing gets corrupted, and it sucks them all in. Splitting them into two teams, the Van Dynes and Pym, and the Langs. That might seem like two teams, right? Hank Pym with the Van Dynes and the Langs? Anyways. So, they basically venture through the... Oh my freaking god. Oh, you can see we're tired. So they ventured to the quantum realm. Langs meet up with... Oh, I'm gonna forget. The Ongoers. On something. I forgot what their group name was. The Ongoers or something. And then while Hank and the Van Dynes go take a ship, some stinger thing about, and basically explore the city parts of the quantum realm, where they're gonna meet up with Janet Van Dyne's friend, the Kryler. Well, he's not called Doug. His name is Kryler. What am I saying? What else is there? So basically, this whole film is basically Star Wars vibes, to the point where how the quantum realm is basically, you could say, the galaxy of Star Wars. You know how there's this giant emperor who's kind of controlling everything with his little troopers and his little giant general Darth Vader. This is the same thing with Kang, with his little quantum troopers, and of course MODOK. So when the Van Dynes and Pym talk to Kryler, he betrays them, saying how Kang sent MODOK to get Cassie and Scott, who were with the Ongoers, who wanted them to leave because they knew the Conqueror would go after them because they knew Janet. And that's what happened. MODOK went in after them while Kryler tried to tuck in the Van Dynes and Pym, but they were able to escape by enlarging some food thing that was alive. And they take Kryler's ship. Why that? MODOK captures Lang and Cassie, revealing himself to be Darren Cross from the original Ant-Man film. Though this isn't that surprising, because apparently everyone knew before that. Everyone knew this was going to be Yellowjacket because there was too much evidence. That's pretty much it. There was just too much evidence. Because apparently the trailer did not do a good job of hiding who he really was. Everyone knew this was Yellowjacket. To be fair, would I prefer it if they did not reveal him? It really didn't matter. Everyone already thought it was going to be Yellowjacket even before. I think even before it came out in Comic-Con, everyone was thinking that Yellowjacket could be a version of MODOK. And they just decided to make that theory true. Let's see. Next, Janet talks about his time with Kang. Of how he talks about how Kang is a 31st century. No, I don't think she said 31st century, but like he has tech from the centuries away. Let's see, what else? So they're trying to build trying to fix his timeshare so he can leave. While building it, Janet reads Kang's mind, sees him in his conqueror form destroying Earths. Janet, of course, questions it, and I think Kang here, I'm not sure what he says and then Kang realizes it, and Janet betrays him, so he tries to attack her in the core, but Janet is able to enlarge that core to what is Kang gonna talk about with Scott now, how and Kang basically says to him that he has killed Avengers before, including Thor and possibly Ant-Man himself, and he basically says that Ant-Man's the only one who can get him what Kang wants, and in return he asks for him to return home, but that wasn't enough for him, so he tortures both him and his daughter. So then he said yes to go. Well, I wouldn't say it was torture. Well, nah, kind of felt like torture. Anyways, so Ant-Man goes to the place where the core is, and all of a sudden he duplicates into multiple versions of himself that Darren says is multiple possibilities, meaning variants. These were variants. These were obviously variants. One of them being him if he never became an Avenger. The Baskin-Robbins one. And let's see, no. And basically they all run after that thing. One of them tries to enlarge, then he gets cut into multiple pieces. Another one tries to enlarge later on, but he gets unraveled, which that's kind of same as getting cut into pieces. Not really. Unraveled is kind of different. The original Ant-Man, which you could tell who's who because he's the only one with his mask off, gets almost suffocated by multiple self until he heard Cassie, and then all the Ant-Mans were like, yeah, we gotta get this dude up. So they try to get him up. He tries to shrink it, but one wasn't enough. So they almost fall until Hope comes in to save Ant-Man, where they combine their multiple shrinky techie thing and just, yeah, pretty much. Alright, what happens next? So Janet warns Scott about Kang. He doesn't, he still wants to give him the orb because of how he has Cassie, but Kang isn't like that. He breaks his deal, takes the orb, and defeats them, and takes Janet. Why did Hank get attacked by Mona? Well, after got attacked by Mona, but after that he heard some weird thing in his hearing aids, revealing later that it was the ants. How they also got into the quantum realm, but they think it traveled into a time vortex because they got 1,000 years of knowledge. Then, while Cassie Lang is in prison, she escapes and breaks out one of the members of that ongoing. Why don't I remember that team? I'm not sure. What was the name? I forgot. Man, this is a horrible summary. Well, it makes sense. It's just our first try, so this is way different than a book. True. Let's see. What else is there? So. Oh god, I'm just very tired. No, stay up. Head. So Kang explains about the incursions, about the multiverse. He also talks about how he was exiled by the Kang dynasty. If you don't know, there is a Kang dynasty, and he was apparently exiled from it. And so he wants to go back and destroy them. But before he's able to do it, Cassie sends a signal to Ant-Man and the other resistances. I'm just gonna call them resistance because they're basically similar. And then Ant-Man comes in, very giant, maybe the biggest we've seen of him, I'm not sure, and literally just wrecks the whole city that Kang made with the troopers, along with everyone else also wrecking them. With Cassie, for some reason, able to convince MODOK to turn into a good guy. Still question how she did that, but she did. And then Kang gets frustrated and starts conquering, like Jonathan Majors promised. Then the three superheroes, Cassie, Ant-Man, and Hope. I think we forgot to say that Cassie Lang has a suit. Yeah. Yeah, she has a suit. We don't know her superhero name, but it's probably mostly, I think it's Stinger. Though it could also be Stature, but I feel like it's more Stinger than Stature because, first of all, when she's the Stature version of her, it's actually her growing without needing the Pym particles. Here, she actually needs the particles. Alright, what's next? After that, Hank comes in with the ants and they swarm Kang along with MODOK, but then MODOK gets killed. And then they all return home. At least they think they were able to. Well, most of them, until Kang pulls Ant-Man back and they do. Ant-Man almost losing until Hope comes in, helps them out, and they trap Kang in his own machine, something. Either killed or trap him, I'm not sure. And the portal closes, making us think that Ant-Man and the Wasp were stuck in there until Cassie was able to reopen the portal and brought them back. And then that was it. Well, not really. We see Scott Lang in a repeat of his beginning talk about how he just saved the quantum realm, but this time he's worried because he's worried that he might have unleashed the Kang dynasty to come after him in this world, possibly dooming it. And he is stuck with that. So, yeah, didn't really left off on a happy ending because of how, and you'll see more. But basically what he's doing right now is just making up time. For example, he has given Cassie Lang a fake birthday, even though it's not July. Anyways, here are the post-credit scenes. The first one is we see a place with loads of Kangs, and we first see Pharaoh Rama-Tut. Don't know who Pharaoh Rama-Tut is. He is basically one of the Kang variants. Now we actually saw a picture of him in a shirt in Moon Knight. See, some guy was wearing a jacket that actually had Pharaoh Rama-Tut in it. Making a new Pharaoh Rama-Tut was somewhere in the MCU, and now here he is right here. And along with another one that that looks like a superior Iron Man type Kang. And the other one that looks like a Mortis. Actually, later on, while we were talking about the post-credit scene before, in the original cut for this, we were searching up who each were. They said that the superior Iron Man look like maybe Scarlet Centurion, but I don't know. I think it's more of a superior Iron Man type. But the other one is a Mortis, though it looks way different. And Mortis talks about how they are discovering the multiverse. Something. Traveling or discovering. Which is probably referencing to Loki. Maybe one... No, I wouldn't say WandaVision. No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness. Connecting those three films. Pharaoh Rama-Tut connects Moon Knight. So... And then they said they're going to start attacking. And we see loads of Kangs. Thousands of Kangs. This is obviously setting up the Kang Dynasty coming out in May 2025. Or is it? Because the Marvels, we don't know, was recently delayed till November 10th of this year. Not July 28th. But anyways, the second post-credit scene is where we see another Kang variant during the 19th century. Well, actually, I later learned this actually takes place in 1901. So it's like super early 20th century. And we see another Kang variant called Victor Timely. And we see Loki and Mobius returning from Loki's show, making Loki's 8th appearance in the MCU installment, though 9 with What If. And Mobius being his 2nd appearance. And basically, Loki is showing Mobius Kang, or one of the Kangs. And Mobius doesn't really see him as dangerous, though I'm pretty sure he is going to figure it out. This is definitely setting up Loki Season 2. This could even be a scene in Loki Season 2. Because this ain't the first time where you see something in the end credits scene, and then you realize it's a scene for the next installment. For example, Ant-Man. The end credits scene for that was basically a scene that we figure out that we later learn is in Civil War. Doctor Strange, the end credits scene was show Doctor Strange with Thor was a scene later shown in Thor Ragnarok. So this could possibly be the same thing. Now let me tell you how I enjoyed this film. I really like this film. Very enjoying. And really felt Star Wars, which I liked because I miss Star Wars movies. Star Wars movies, specifically episode ones. And I liked Kang. I liked MODOK. I don't know why everyone complained about MODOK. That's probably because of how weird it looked. Though that's the point of MODOK. He's supposed to look weird. No, it's probably because of how he actually decided to die a good guy. Yeah, or as he claims an Avenger. And usually people are used to the villain type Kang. To be fair, is MODOK evil in that Hulu show? Oh right, he has his own Hulu show. Though we never watched it, so we can't confirm he's a good guy there. What else could we say? And I don't know, I have any others. So I'll bring back the ranking then from the Phase 4 ranks. It has changed a little bit. While we watching Captain Marvel, I actually found him more enjoying. So I put that in between Doctor Strange and Ant-Man. And for Ant-Man and Quantumania, that is going to be put between Infinity War and Hawkeye. Yeah, this was really a great MCU film. So it's going right there in 4th place. One more thing to talk about is possibly its lead-ups. Omit the next installment after. Though that's going to be tough because we don't know what's next. Just in case, I'm going to talk about Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 because I just think Secret Invasion is delayed. I don't think it's coming next. So Guardians of the Volume 3, this is the next one. This is about the Guardians in their final ride where they have to fend off with the High Evolutionary who experimented on Rocket, or created Rocket. And also he's apparently the owner of Mount Wundagore that we saw in WandaVision, so he's probably important there, so maybe. And yeah, that's it. I feel tired. I'm gonna end this now. Hope you'll enjoy. Maybe not. But don't worry. I'll feel a lot better once we and the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 summary when that happens. It's just we feel very tired because we already did this, but failed, and now we're recording this again. So yeah, that'll be it the video. Hope you all enjoy. Please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everybody.